Good morning, everyone. This is Grand Admiral Ando Starsaber. I'm here to go over the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren Rancor lineup and how I do. I'm going to do a run through, see how it goes. I've had as much luck as about 35% damage so far. It's really RNG dependent, so I would be surprised if I got that again. Excuse me. There are people who can solo this phase, but it requires some very, I'll just say, unique modding and mods I cannot currently replicate, which includes a 593 that's ludicrously fast Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and among other things. But I'm going to show you my lineup real quick here, and I'm making a little bit of an adjustment as we go here. So now for Kylo Ren Unmasked, my normal lineup has just defense mods. I'm going to change it up a bit this time, and I'm going to be putting on a lot of health. So that's going to just make him a little bit more beefy, and since the armor penetration goes up for the pigs as they go along here, I'm going to go ahead and put Grievous's mods. That's going to put him at about 120,000 health, a little bit extra protection. The whole purpose, though, is just to keep him taking the hits a little bit longer. Now, whereas Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is concerned, I've changed him up a bit as well. I've taken off a lot of those offense mods that gave me almost 13,000 offense, so my damage is a little bit lower here, but it's still pretty respectable. It's almost at 11,000. It's just not as where it was. I do have a crit damage mod on my arrow, and this particular setup is most notable. It has a little bit more speed. Currently, I have it at 569. I intend to beef it up a little bit more when I can upgrade the arrow. But this is just to get a little faster, because this is trying to duplicate to some extent the 593 that the person who sold it does, and using the same strategy. Now, the rest of the team I've kind of retooled as well a little bit. Thrawn I've got more or less configured the same. He's got decent health, about 72,000, and protection. You want him to be more survivable. I've got him right at about 300 speed. Now, Hux is also pretty fast, but I put some more health sets to try to make him a little beefier as well. So he's about 72,000 and about 70,000 protection, and he's got 144 speed. So he's not as fast as he was, but he's got a little bit more health as well. So that's kind of give and take. And last but not least is Wat Tambor. I've got him configured more or less the same way, so he's a little bit slower than he was. I've got him now at 315, but I did add some a little bit more to his health as well, because I want to try to make these guys last as long as possible. So now, one thing going into this Rancor that hurt us a little bit, not necessarily my strategy so much, but we did have a person that slipped up and did a little bit of damage at the outset. Now, why is that important? Well, there's one very specific detail here, and that comes down to Pit Fighter 2. It's a very overtuned ability that the boss has, that the unit has 50% tenacity while it isn't toppled, and is immune to Terminator reduction effects. But the big thing here is for every 20% of its health lost, this unit gains an amazing 75% offense and speed stacking. So that means at 20%, its offense and speed will close to double. At 40%, it'll do it again. At 60%, it'll do it again. At 80%, it'll do it one last time. And then that last 20%, you just get in what you can. So that's why it's very important here that we don't have people screw up and do damage for us. Because if it pushes over that first 80%, I am underselling it if I call it a soft enrage. It is basically an enrage that happens right at the time it hits 80% health. So Unfortunately, because this is so overtuned a capability, what it's designed to do is to keep teams like mine from soloing the Rancor completely. And I get it, but EA kind of went overboard and made it so that guilds have to coordinate all their attacks simultaneously, and they have to be able to do 100% just to clear the phase. And that way they only get really the one team in one chance to do it right. Otherwise, it'll fail. Guilds are doing it, but it's takes a lot of people with a lot of whale and kraken accounts to get that done. So a lot of Galactic Legends, especially Supreme Leader Kylo Ren's. So this is an ugly ability, and to top that off here, it also has at the start of each turn it gains 50% armor penetration and 10% critical chance, critical damage, and potency stacking. So all those things are building up and making it more damaging each turn. And then it goes in and takes away offense, tenacity, and mastery stacking until the end of the counter for all your team members. And it triples for Galactic Legends. That's to try to keep Galactic Legends in check, and that's also what makes Supreme Leader Kylo Ren specifically more powerful, is stacking mastery. So now we'll show you a technique to work around that, but it's really RNG dependent, and it really requires you to plan your attacks well. Now, last but not least, it also has Fearsome Full Force. So if it isn't toppled, it has 75% turn meter and gains 15% turn meter whenever it takes damage, and it uses 3 abilities per turn, and yada yada yada, boost of damage, so on and so forth. What you really need to know in this is you want to make sure that anything that's not a very damaging attack that can kill one of the ads that come in are directed at the ads. So you want to take that really comes from Kylo Ren Unmasked, and about halfway into the fight, you'll see Supreme Leader Kylo Ren's damage go way down before it ramps back up and does the massive damage at the end. So that's the way to approach this fight. You just really have to plan your strategy around it. So now, of course, we don't want to do what this person did here and accidentally post. So when we go into the battle, we get into the first screen. Before you do anything else, the absolute first thing you want to do is bring this into airplane mode. So now we're in airplane mode, and we can continue. So the first thing you want to do is put your weapons tech on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That will give him boosted damage. It doesn't have the turn meter game it normally would. That would be handy for this, but it's also kind of overpowered because this is right now the only high damage team I think that most people are aware of for any phase. Mostly phase 1, though. This is a very high damage team. We'll go ahead and what we're trying to do is stack siphons as high, as many stacks as possible. What we're not going to do is we're not going to use the Furious Onslaught AoE ability. What I am going to do is I'm going to do the Stasis Strike and build up 40 stacks of siphon. Next thing, you'll get the tank tech. That'll be going over to Kylo Ren Unmasked. That's pretty straightforward. Go ahead and pass the turn back to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Stasis Strike the next one. He will replace the ads on his next turn. So that's less of a concern than it might be otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and try the Fracture. Hopefully, no, we didn't get any crits there. That's the unfortunate thing. So now we're going to do basics from here until the point where we get another Stasis Strike come available. We'll stun one of the ads. Put the med tech on Thrawn. Now for these, the one thing you're trying to do as well is you're trying to build up the ultimate. I'm going to do this. We'll get some crits in. Only Kylo Ren Unmasked and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren will go in, but they'll crit. And that will help. Right now the damage on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is still pretty high. I'm going to just focus the boss for now. until we start to see his damage drag down a little bit further. We'll do a stasis strike on the boss as well, 50,000. That would still kill one of the ads. So we're just going to keep using that and keep on passing turn meter to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. You want him to stack up as much as possible, and he does that through both his basic ability and a stasis strike. He just gets way more out of his stasis strike, so stasis strike's the one you really want to use the most. So now we'll do another attack. We're down to about 20,000. You can see it's come down a ways, and we can also see that health set on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren helping keeping him alive a little bit, or on Kylo Ren and Maz keeping him alive a little bit longer, keeping his health up a little bit longer. So that's pretty important too. We'll try a stasis strike over here. Good, it's not killing him now, so that's something you want to just keep on doing. Again, we're going to stack it up again. It did kill that ad, but we still got one left. And that should bring down Supreme Leader Kylo Ren some more. So when I do the ultimate, see, we're down to about 1,000. You can see it's come way down and the amount of damage it does. Now we're going to go ahead and focus on the boss, because I think both of those combined will kill the ad. And that's what you don't want to do. Okay, now we got a second ad in there. That will make this a little bit longer lasting. Go ahead and anytime you got an ultimate up, go ahead and put it on, or put turn meter to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That'll get another stasis strike off. We got it up to about 640, which means about 320 in normal. We'll do try to get as many crits as we can so we can build up another ultimate. We lost Wat Tambor. Not really critical now, because all he does is add damage over time effects, which honestly don't help this very much. They kill the ads quicker, and we want it to stay in. We want these ads to stay around as much as possible. So this actually helps us a little bit to lose Wat at this juncture. And we'll go ahead and add some more stacks of Siphon that way. We'll go ahead and, since we got them both stunned anyway, add another crit through that. Get some more crits. With Thrawn and Hux, you always want to attack the boss, because they do more damage than the ads can take, mostly, if they crit. We'll do one more stasis strike on the ad, because next time we're going to have to kick into the ultimate here. Go ahead and do another, try to get as many of these as we can. Okay, we lost our Kylo Ren unmasked. That may be where this becomes a more or less failed run, but if you got a stun mod up, or add up, you can go ahead and start charging up your mastery using him specifically, especially while you're in your ultimate. Now at this point, he's not at enrage yet, but he's going to get there very quickly. So we're just going to have to try to get what we can. So we'll crack one more AoE of. If he kills us at this point, we're done for, but I think we can crank that. Get one more AoE out of it. He survived, and we'll make the last turn a basic and try to do as much damage as possible. So fortunately, I had airplane mode up, so even if I screwed up earlier and that ended earlier, I wouldn't have posted a score. You could see right there, we did a little over 40%. That's actually my best score yet, so that was a good run. I don't know if it was for the video or whatnot, but that worked out pretty well. When you get to this point, what you just do is close out your game, reset, and then deactivate airplane mode, and that's how you avoid posting a score. But that's really all it boils down to. That's the fight in a nutshell. Pretty good run, 40%. Not as good as some people are doing, but I'm still working on the mods of this setup, so I understand it's not going to all play out perfectly. If you have any questions, please reach out in game chat or Discord. This is Grand Admiral Star Saber. May the Force be with you. Signing out.